Good afternoon. I am Eric Guthrie. I manage the training department for Overseas Buildings Operations Facilities Management, and I'm here to present my 5-minute video to you on the future of facilities, designing training programs to meet the needs of a diverse FM workforce. This will be presented in IFMA World Workplace 2020 in Amsterdam. I'm going to start by going over the objectives for my presentation. Number 1, discuss the business case models to increase training programs in your organization. Number 2, learn how the FBPTA, the Federal Buildings Personnel Training Act, competency model can improve your organization's FM training program. Number 3, discuss how the lessons from the Department of State's training program can provide value to your organization. And number 4, learn how diversity, training, and technology interrelate to create a brighter future for facilities. I'm going to briefly go through some of the highlights for each one of these in succession and then wrap it up for you. So for objective number 1, which covers the business case models, we're going to talk about how training can achieve cost savings. Now, a good training program is going to cost money, but if you do it well, the amount of money it will save in work, in hours of operation, in expenses for maintenance and repair, or even for replacement, is going to be far greater than the training itself. So any good training program should save an organization a lot of money. How to align the training business case with the organization. You can't have a training program or a training business case that's not in lockstep with the organization. That's going to be a recipe for disaster. You want the organization's missions and values and their objectives to directly line up with the training mission, values, and objectives. Otherwise, you can have a training program that's not very effective at all. And number 3, we're going to discuss the actual program development process. We're going to go over some quick highlights on how you can develop your own training program in your organization and the process bars to do so. This presentation is designed to give you actionable items to take away so you can work on once you get back to your organization. Objective number 2 covers the Federal Buildings Personnel Training Act, which is the FBPTA. We're going to cover the FBPTA core competencies. Those core competencies are critical when it comes to understanding how the FBPTA works and how it can work for your organization. So we're going to cover those. We're also going to talk about some of the FBPTA tools, specifically FedStat and Accelerate FM. Those are the 2 tools that GSA put out to enable the user, most likely the FM or the building operator, to take a test, take an assessment, and learn where they need to place their training efforts. If they scored high in one category and lower in others, they may want to focus on the lowest scoring category so they can have a better overall FM training plan as well as a professional experience. And finally, I'm going to talk about how the FBPTA and training programs can be part of your own training development process. In my opinion, and this is what I advocate in my organization, the FBPTA should not be used alone. It should not be used in a vacuum. And what I've done is I've incorporated the FBPTA into our overall training program, so that way it's part and parcel of the bigger picture. So you have the compliance piece, you have the funding piece, you have the communications piece, you have the actual training piece, and they all tie together. By having that as part of this piece has been very helpful, because some of the tools they provide are actually very helpful for an overall training plan. Objective number 3. Well, this is what we talk about with the Department of State and how we've used the FBPTA and how we learned some lessons from our own prior training efforts, whether they've been lessons learned that were positive or lessons learned that we need to improve. We cannot achieve evolution if we don't look and see what we've done properly and what we have to improve upon. So I'm going to share some of those with you during my presentation. And finally, we're going to talk about diversity and inclusion and technology And this is the real fun part of the course. This is going to be the highly interactive part. We're going to break down into 4 groups, and we're going to talk about training a multicultural workforce, insufficient, and what to do if your training program has insufficient training implements, which is a very common issue. We're going to talk about training on new equipment. You got a new boiler in, you got a new HVAC in, you got a new switchgear in, you got a new bass in. Great. So are the staff trained on it? No. Well, what do you do next? And as we all know, that's the issue that many organizations face. Finally, we're going to discuss teamwork, leadership, diversity. Those are all part of a really good, well thought out training plan, which is also in the FEPTA. So we're going to break into groups, and we're going to have a task where we have to look at a scenario, and the group has to come up with some answers. So this is really going to be the fun part of the time we have together. So in conclusion, I'm looking forward to seeing all of you in Amsterdam. I'm looking forward to engaging with you. I'm looking forward to having a wonderful, fun-filled, but very important hour for learning. And we can't, in my mind, if we can't learn, if we can't have fun. So we're going to try and do both during my session. This is Eric Guthrie from Overseas Buildings Operations Facility Management. I will see you in Amsterdam.